Hi, I'm Ryan Davis.
And I'm Kiernan Schmidt.
And this is Out of Office, a travel podcast.
This seat taken.
Hey, Kiernan.
Hello, Ryan. How are you today?
You know, it's been raining a lot, like every day. It always rains every day, but it's been raining like every day for like a long time. And it's
I assume you're in Colombia. Is that are we in Bogota?
Yeah, I'm in Bogota.
And is there like a rainy season? Is that happening right now?
We're in it. Yeah.
But is that a known thing, or are you just calling it that to be cute?
No, it's definitely this is more the rainy season than other months. So, you know.
And how are you? Are you a raincoat man? Are you a boots or umbrella?
No, I'm a run to the Uber kind of guy.
See, I had a feeling that was true. Do you not carry an umbrella?
No, I don't carry an umbrella. And people,
that's insane. That's an insane policy.
I'm anti-umbrella. I think they're dangerous, and they, you know, people get hit in the face with them, and you know, when you walk into a store, you got to figure out what to do with it. It's like there's nothing worse.
What people are getting hit in the face with them? What
they're you know, you whip them around in the city. I thought in New York they should have been outlawed. Like that should have been Zoran's campaign, like outlaw the umbrella.
Zoran really needed your advice to figure out how to get elected. I love umbrellas. I used to my go-to brand used to be something called the Gust Buster. The Gust Buster had a special patented teardrop vent technology that made sure they never flipped inside out. And the company would like shoot videos of them in wind tunnels. But I eventually walked away from Gust Busters because they're a little bit of a premium price, and I just found I was not great at not forgetting them in restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can always get a good umbrella at a restaurant, though. That's, you know, they have a bowl. Usually they have like a bowl in the front.
Those aren't just for you to take, Ryan. No, I love rain gear. I'm a real, because when I was in the Boy Scouts, it used to pour every time I went on to a camping trip. The troop used to have a joke. They called it the KPS curse, because my scout master, Kevin Patrick Sheehy, and me, Kiernan Patrick Schmidt, anytime we were on a trip together, it would pour. And so I got very skilled at rain suits, which is not just a rain jacket, but also rain pants. Oh, I love rain pants. And then a poncho. And because you don't do umbrellas in camping. We do draw the line there.
Yeah, you don't walk around a forest holding an umbrella.
No, that would poke you in the face.
Yeah. So,
but we shouldn't talk about poking in the face, because we're not talking about your weekend plans. Okay, everybody, we are here now. Ryan, this is going to be a special Ryan episode. So, what are we talking about today?
So back in December, I took a little trip in December, January, and one of the places that we went was the Andalusian coast, which is called the Costa del Sol in Spain. And we're going to talk about
what's that translate to, Ryan?
I think it's the coast of the sun.
Very okay. That was a test, and you have passed it. Now, can you remind me? What's the Immaculate Conception celebrate?
The Immaculate Conception, it's not the one that everybody thinks.
What's the one everybody thinks?
Everybody thinks it's like celebrating like her getting conceived to have this child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning Mary.
Mary.
Have you forgotten her name?
No, the Virgin Mary. Yeah.
Sure. And you're right. It is not that. So I feel like I'm making some headway here, because that's the wrong answer. So what is the right answer?
When she was immaculately born. Conceived when she was conceived.
Yes. Yeah. That is right. Which is when Saint Anne became pregnant with Mary, because she was immaculate. Not in that there wasn't sex involved, because from what I heard about Saint Anne, well, anyway, but it's because she was sinless. She was immaculately conceived.
I kind of feel like that might have happened to me too. you know.
Oh, we're going to skip the Judy alert today, so we can't call up Judy and ask. But Ryan, I do have one just quick. I'm very excited to get to the coast of Spain. I've been to Spain, but I have not done this trip in Spain, so I'm very excited to hear about it. But I also wanted to let you know, this is publishing on Tuesday. We just had a major Massachusetts holiday called Patriots Day yesterday. Are you familiar with Patriots Day?
Is it something to do with the revolution?
It's exactly like now
Yeah.
that we're in the 250th anniversary year of the Revolutionary War breaking out. This is a very special Patriots Day, and I was thrilled that I got invited back on that NPR show to talk about special Revolutionary War related sites around Boston that are off the beaten track, off of my book, Secret Boston: An Unusual Guide.
So what was one of the most sort of Patriot Day secrets?
There's a great one. It's in Somerville, which I would describe it. It's sort of like a borough of Boston. If
Yeah.
Boston had boroughs, Somerville, which is where I live. There's a place called Powder House Square, and Powder House Square has this windmill, this former windmill that still stands on this little hill, and it was built in, I believe it was 1707, if my memory serves me correctly, and it served as a windmill. It has a story about a woman who was being chased by a man, a bit of a creep, and she took refuge in the mill. And the man came in and he got caught in the gears of the mill and ground to death, and she was saved. That doesn't have to do with the revolution. I just like that part of the story. So then the family who built the windmill sells it to the state. The state says, these 2-foot thick walls would be really good, not just for milling grain, but for storing gunpowder, because it would keep it dry, it's weatherproof, and a fire is not going to break out because they're these big stone walls. So they take the millwork off, they fill it with powder, and then as things were revolutionary spirits were starting to rise, the royal governor of the colony of Massachusetts was getting very nervous because he noticed a bunch of locals kept taking bits of powder out of this powder house. They had access to it through local authorities.
Like Sam Adams?
Not Sam Adams particularly. He was more the Boston side of things.
Yeah.
But so the royal governor decides, I'm going to quietly take away the keys to this powder house. And he had this whole plan that, I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to draw attention to it. And then finally lost patience, gave up, got 260 British soldiers to come with him. And he forcibly took over the powder house. Now, this was 7 months before Lexington and Concord. Okay. The shot heard round the world. And so in reaction to him taking over this powder house, it was the very first mass demonstrations against the crown. And they were right here in Somerville, Massachusetts. And you can still go to that powder house. It's in a beautiful park.
That's a cool story. I feel like there's so many mill related stories
I
Boston.
could write just a whole secret mill book, which seems like this one. The book as it is already has too many. I have a lot of things about special historic stairways, so maybe the next one could be all mills.
Yeah, yeah. My favorite stairway is outside of DC. You can visit the stairway where The Exorcist was filmed.
Oh, cool! Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't get me started. I mean, famous stairways of Boston. I mean, this could be the least performing episode. Even worse than How to Get Cheap Broadway Tickets, which famously, for some reason, out of office people don't like.
Well, I think we should jump into the coast here. But before I do, folks, give us 5 stars, write a nice review if you
that
enjoy.
Would be swell, wouldn't it? We keep getting attacked, Ryan. We just got a review. I think it was still. I believe. Well, it was not a great review because they said they enjoyed the travel content, but that we talk politics too much. We're a big tent podcast. We're not. You don't have to be liberal or conservative to find a home here.
Yeah, well, we welcome all kinds of folks, and we do have a lovely shout out on the And we do have a lovely shout out recently, a 5-star review. They love the pod and they love the reference to all the reference to Catholicism. But they don't go to South America, so my trips don't interest them very much. But today,
I just want that. Well, today we're not doing South America,
no.
Europe, but the wading pool to the world, as the godfather of the show, Rick Steves, calls it. And I just want to say, you got to help us, because Ryan and I, we have listened. We rarely bring politics up in the podcast. We are Romney Democrats. You need to drown out these people who are giving us low ratings because they like 90% of the show. They don't love our chat, which is like another 9%. And then there's just one measly little percent where we might voice that we have slight opinions on politics.
But we didn't do that on this episode. So leave us those.
And even if we do say that we don't agree with the current administration, we can both admit that Joe Biden is old.
He's very old. Did you see him call out that guy who he thought looked like Obama?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I saw this clip. I thought it was very disingenuous, the journalism on this. It made it seem like he was confused in calling this man calling him Barack Obama. He was making a joke. He was saying, "You look like Barack Obama." He knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. Absolutely. All right. Well, I think with all that, it's time to take off.
Tell the cabin crew I need some sunscreen.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
All right. Well, we are here in Spain. Like I said, we were here in December. So just keep that in mind as sort of I tell the story here.
Now, Ryan, you're going to be pronouncing it in the traditional Spanish way of Andalusia, correct?
Yeah, Andalusia.
Yeah, Andalusia.
Yeah, this is an autonomous community.
You mean it's autonomous?
In Spain.
See, we can be politically incorrect like Trump.
Absolutely.
We're Big Ten.
So what makes this area really interesting, Kiernan, is it's been under control of like a lot of different cultures. So there were the Romans, and there were the Moors, and then there were the Spanish. So there's a lot of interesting architecture and archaeological sites sort of scattered about from these the fact that this area has been around for a very long time. We went to Costa del Sol, which is the Mediterranean coast. And this got really popular sort of right after World War II and the Spanish Civil War in like the 50s. Became like a real hotspot for celebrities, Grace Kelly, Marlon Brando, Frank Sinatra, all kind of hanging out around some of the cities we're going to be talking about today. And now there's a whole lot of tourists. It's a heavily touristed beach area. A lot of British, German, Scandinavians, and me, American. So the peak summer in Costa del Sol is June through August. We were there during the winter months, so we were there in December. So there's a lot of beach clubs, there's a lot of resort properties. We were more kind of doing the city exploration, and not the beach because it was cold. Although we walked along the beach quite a bit.
How cold are we talking about?
Yeah, like 35, 45 degrees.
Pretty cold. Okay.
Chilly. Yeah, it was Christmas, So I want to talk about Malaga and Marbella. These are two cities that are very close to each other. You can take the train to either of these cities from Barcelona. The annoying thing is there's no train between them, so we actually had to get a car.
And how far of a ride is that?
It's about 2 hours. It's not so bad.
Oh my gosh, that's like a really long time to have to hire a car for.
Yeah, like an hour and a half, 2 hours. But you go down the coast. It's a really pretty drive. Malaga is a bigger city. It's got the airport, and it's one of the oldest cities like in the world. It's been Roman, it's been Moorish, it's been Christian. So there's a lot of different sort of like a lot of different sort of layers to the city. And It had one of the most striking sights that I saw in my entire trip this last time, and that's right in the center of Malaga. There is this Roman uh, theater, and then above it is a Moorish palace, and above that is a Moorish castle. So you're basically looking at multiple like generations of history in this one street that you're it's an incredible sight. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's a very cool place. So the center is where you're going to spend, most of your time when you're sort of bopping around. You're going to want to see, the Roman theater. You're going to want to check out Al Cazaba. You're going to want to check out Al Cazaba, which is the sort of palace that's above the theater. Now, we were there over the Christmas holiday, so it actually wasn't open for us to go inside, but so reason to go back. But it's known for the sort of views of the entire city of Malaga, and they also have a cathedral that only has one tower that got finished. They didn't finish the second tower, so it's sort of it's a lonely tower, the Lonely Tower Cathedral, you could call it.
Good. I mean, sometimes I think these churches are too symmetrical.
No, I think it's definitely beautiful. And the whole downtown is really, the whole kind of historic center is interesting because you have this mix of like the Moorish architecture and the Spanish architecture, and then these Roman ruins that are sort of scattered about the city. So, really beautiful. Great place to sort of just walk around and spend, just a day or two kind of checking out the sights. Now, Pablo Picasso was born in Malaga.
Oh, interesting. Do they have like a preserved home or museum?
So they have two museums dedicated to him. They have a small museum in the house that he was born in, that wasn't open when we were there. But then they have a larger Museo Picasso Malaga, and this is in an old castle. And it has about 200 unique works by Picasso that tracks his entire career. So you can see the stuff he was doing as a teenager, all the way up to the famous Pablo Picasso, and then his sort of later work. So it's a really beautiful museum in this old Renaissance palace. And if you're somebody who enjoys Picasso and kind of wants to see how he developed as like a kid starting here in Malaga, it's definitely worth your time.
How'd the security seem there? Because we've done some art heist episodes recently. I've been thinking about where to hit, and 200 Picassos in an old palace suggests maybe not all the security cameras work.
It was pretty secure, I have to say.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
That was one of the things I noticed in all my museums. That I went to quite a few museums on this trip, and they have definitely stepped up their security.
Yeah, I do. It's very similar. You find yourself sort of casing the joints now with that art heists are on the mind.
Well, I'm also reading Goldfinch, which has an art heist as one of its themes. Yeah. So
I've read Goldfinch. Have you gotten to the explosion?
I'm almost done.
Okay. Yeah, you're well into the explosion then.
Yeah. It's been in a lot of travel in the book. So that's sort of the city center. You can do all that really in a day or two. I would suggest get your tickets in advance if you want to go to the palace and the castle, because those tend to sell out. But it's, even if you don't go inside, it's an incredible thing. Make sure you go at night because they light it up. So they light up the Roman theater, and then they light up the palace above it. And I'll post a picture on the Instagram OOO podcast. But it was really, really beautiful. And you can also take a walk down to the beach. It's about a 10-minute walk from the city center to see the beach. It's beautiful. And, a lot of little restaurants, cafes, bars, beach clubs down there some of them were open when we were there, but not all of them. But, you get the impression it's a really bopping beach town in the middle of the summer.
And do you find it when you're visiting off season like that, is that like depressing, or is it a good time because like you could get into everything you want to?
It was a little colder than we had wanted. I think, we were supposed to go to Thailand. We just didn't get it together in time. So, but it was interesting to be there off season because we just, had a lot of time to kind of read and relax and unwind. It wasn't like a super high, high stress trip. And we ate some good food. There's a lot of good seafood restaurants in Malaga. I want to call out one that we really enjoyed, Restaurante Casa Helado. And this is like an old school white tablecloth seafood place. They sell the seafood basically by the pound. It's family run, so it's like run by not by the pound because it's Europe, by whatever that would be. So just be careful because there's no prices, and we spent more money than we thought the meal was going to be, and because it's like the catch of the day, and it's like they don't give you wouldn't ask for the details, but it was really,
that I would, but
oh yeah, you go back there and watch them like weigh it.
Yeah.
Is that before or after it's cooked? The weight.
Hey, that's a lot of water weight in there right now. Come on, let's give it a squeeze.
And it's been run by the same family for like 3 generations. So definitely recommend if you want a really nice, fine night out on the town. There's also really fresh fish, obviously. So there's a great Japanese restaurant there serving sushi, really fresh local stuff called Takumi. And this was a really cool place, had a good wine list. And if you want to get away from some of sort of the more traditional Spanish food or just the seafood, it's a good night out for a change of scene. So we took the car, like I said, to Marbella. And this is a much smaller town, but again, like another really beautiful beach town. The old town is really small, and it's one of these old towns where you're walking around and the streets are incredibly thin and narrow. So and there's so many flowers, and all the houses are so beautiful. It's something like kind of Disney-esque. It's such a pretty, beautiful little town to kind of stroll around in. And they have all these little plazas that are surrounded by like restaurants where you can eat outdoors. And the main plaza is called the Plaza de los Naranjo. Plaza de los Naranjos. And Naranjo obviously are oranges. And
sure, of course, yeah.
There are so many orange trees all around Andalusia. Because Europe because that area of Spain has the best climate for citrus, and originally the Moors brought all these citrus plants to Spain because they thought it really smelled nice, and they made for a really good urban design, like the way that the plants, the trees grew. So when you're walking around Seville or Malaga or Marbella, there's so many of these orange trees that you'll see everywhere. But you can't eat them. I mean, you can, but they're really gross. They're really bitter.
Okay.
They're not the ones that you typically eat, and when they are harvested, they turn them into like a local marmalade or a liqueur. So look good, smell good, don't taste good is what you should know about these orange trees that you'll see all around town. And the Plaza de los Naranjos, great place to, like I said, to have a lunch, to sort of people watch. It's really beautiful with all the orange trees, and you should definitely check it out.
I'm getting the real sense of that sort of beach town vibe where a lot of it is just kind of sitting back and enjoying.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, a lot of shopping. They've got a lot of cute local brands, and it's the kind of place where a family goes out on the beach during the day, and then they have a nice dinner and they walk around and buy like souvenirs, kind of
straight Picasso here and there.
Yeah. Now there is from the old town. If you're going to walk towards the beach and you want to see, some of the shops there, you're going to take this Avenue Del Mar. and it's a pretty cool walkway because they have all these Salvador Dali sculptures up and down the walkway. So it's really beautiful. A lot of people stopping to take pictures. This trip radicalized me against Dali. I've talked about this on the pod already, but Dali not a great guy. But his some enjoyable art.
What
there.
did he do? I don't remember what he did. Is he canceled?
Yeah, no, he was just like he partnered with Franco and on all these projects.
Oh, okay,
all right. It was
and he
bad,
had that pointy mustache. He probably poked people with it.
A lot of good food. Again, it's like a beach town, so a lot of seafood. One place I do want to call out is this sort of Mediterranean place that's got like super rustic kind of cabin vibes. That's on one of the main streets, and it's a really had cool vibes and good food. It's Casanis Bistro Marbella. And I'll link to it in the show notes. But if you're looking to have a nice dinner, definitely recommend that. And they've got a menu that's sort of French and Belgian inspired. So you can kind of get away from some of the tapas if you're tapa tired, like I so often get.
Yeah, top it out.
Yeah, you get top it out. So that's Costa del Sol. There are a bunch of little towns up and down the coast. These were just the two that we picked out, but really beautiful. I'm definitely gonna go back, and I think the next episode we do about this region should be on Seville, which deserves its own full episode, I think.
I'm very curious, when you were considering where to go during this holiday break, what made you choose this coast in the off season?
We wanted to go to Barcelona anyway, and do a bunch of like restaurants and museums there, and then we were just like, okay, what is around that neither of us had been to, and we picked here, and we've been to so many beaches together. We're not like we didn't need a beach necessarily.
All right, good enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
So with that, I think it's time for the last stop.
The last stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last stop on this train. Everyone, please leave the train.
All right, Ryan, we're here in the last stop. This is the last segment of the show, the final segment of the show. That's why it's called the last stop. It's my favorite segment. It's your favorite segment. And it's popularly known as the People's segment. We think of ourselves as the People's podcasters. They're calling us these days. And the reason that it's called that is because it's a time for community and communion. It's where we come together to share. We might share anything. It could be a piece of gear, could be a story, could be a memory, could be a dream, could be a news article, could be a theater experience. It could be anything, as long as it checks one box. It must meet this criterion, which is that it has to inspire the spirit of it has to inspire the spirit of wanderlust within us, even during the workaday week. So, Ryan, I'm going to ask you, as I ask you every episode, do you have a last stop this week?
I do, Kiernan. I was on Twitter, like I often am, and I saw someone tweet about a new feature on the Wikipedia app, which I haven't opened in a long time. So I went and I opened it, and there's now a button that says map, and you can click on that and it will spin around and show you a map of where you are, and all the Wikipedia articles around you about anything really, about famous battles, about historic buildings, about the park, the random park by your house.
Oh God.
It is super cool.
It sounds overwhelming.
Yeah, it's so the closest thing to my apartment is this really fancy club called the El Nogao Club, and this is sort of like the fancy country club in town. And
of course, you live on the property of the fancy country club.
But in 2003, it was bombed by paramilitary, and so that terrorist attack is the closest Wikipedia to my apartment. But I think this is a super cool tool to use if you're in a city you don't know and you're just sort of walking around and you see a building that's interesting and you don't know the name of it. You can just click on the Wikipedia app, pull it up, and just zoom in and read the article on whatever you're looking at. So it might be overwhelming in like a museum, but I think I haven't tried it in a museum yet, but it's certainly not overwhelming if you're just sort of walking around town and exploring. And it might even teach you something about local history.
I feel like you should create an out of office Wikipedia entry and then locate it at your apartment.
I think we're not allowed. You're not allowed to create your own Wikipedia. There's Wikipedia rule number one.
I listen. I know a few people who I highly suspect they did not listen to that rule. Let's just say they're not that famous, and the entries are awfully complimentary.
Well, if anybody out there is a Wikipedia editor and they want to write up an out of office Wikipedia, we're not going to complain.
No, that would be swell as long as you're going to make it good.
Yeah. They can talk about how controversial we are.
No, we're not. We're sweet as pie.
Did you bring a last stop this week?
I did, Ryan. This is an interesting one. I didn't tell you. We're packing up the kids. We're going to New York City this weekend into next week. We're taking a trip to New York, the old stomping grounds. When was the last time you were back to New York, Ryan?
I haven't been to New York in since I guess August.
Oh, so less than a year?
Yeah, I visited within the last year.
I mean, it's a very complicated feeling when you go back to New York when you lived there for a really long time, isn't it?
It is.
Especially, I am especially nostalgic for restaurants that have closed. I'm always very sad to see how much turnover there is in restaurants.
We lost Winona's, one of my favorite places in Bushwick. I didn't get to eat there again before it closed. Yeah, but New York changes without, there's some novel I read where he talks about how New York just moves on without you in a way that very few other places do.
It's completely. And I certainly experience that every time I'm back. I don't have enough time to go discover new favorite restaurants. So Hell's Kitchen is always a hard walkthrough for me because I had so many good neighborhood places there. But anyway, I feel like this is going to be really good fodder for a New York City with children episode because I have been there with them when they were younger, but now I've got a solid 4-year-old, a 6-year-old. I mean, this is true New York City with children territory. And so we were researching like places to go, and I've been to all these places that the American Museum of Natural History and the Bronx Zoo and the Intrepid Museum, all of these places. But there is a museum that was there when we lived there, Ryan. I don't think either of us ever went to it, and I am enticed, and I think this might be the trip where I pull the trigger. It's the Museum of Math, which calls itself MoMath, play on MoMA, MoMath. Do you remember seeing or hearing about MoMath?
First I've ever heard of it.
So it opened in 2012. So we were right there, and it was right at Madison Square Park. So we used to work at an office on, what were we, 23rd Street?
Yeah, something like that. Like that.
I think we're at maybe we were 21st Street.
This is why you're always late. You're always on the wrong street.
No, I wasn't always late. I remember one time we were with each other and we were punching the code to go in the door. and I think we were both in bad moods and probably hungover or something. And as I was like punching the code into the door, you turned to me and said, "Well, only 40 more years of this." Is that so depressing?
Yeah, well, now only 20 more years of it. So is that even less?
Even more depressing, actually, somehow. So MoMath used to be right there. And now, which, about 10, 15 blocks above Union Square, it's actually shifted over an avenue to 6th Avenue. They've moved to a bigger space because it's become so popular. And it's over by, if you remember, near Blue State, there was a Trader Joe's and there was a Container Store. It's somewhere near there. And it's big, expanded, and it looks, I have to say, even though I'm an English major, even though I'm not Mr. Math, this It looks really fascinating. It is the National Museum of Mathematics. And it replaced, there was a Museum of Mathematics that was in Long Island that closed in 2006. And can you believe that left America with not a single museum of math? And this museum has rectified that.
Well, that is, it's all adding up. And
they said when they designed the space, there's like lots of little Easter eggs, mathy, nerdy Easter eggs hidden all around the building. Apparently, one detail is that in the elevators, the first floor is 0. And if you go downstairs, it's -1. And if you go upstairs, it's +1. And that the New York City Fire Department gave them a really hard time about that. So I want to go see these Easter eggs. They look fun. They have one of the things they're like becoming famous for is they have these tricycles that have triangle wheels, they have these tricycles that have square wheels and a little track where you can actually pedal and move forward on square wheels because of the different geometry principles at play. I'm going to have to report back.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I think there's going to be a lot of minutia here. I'm feeling really good about this museum, and it looks colorful and playful enough for the kids.
The family might be divided about it, but we'll see.
The idea that this museum was there and neither of us went is just insane to me. And now it's been so popular, it's expanding. So one of us has to check the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to take them to the Museum of Natural History, see the dinosaurs?
Yeah, we're going to we're going to the Museum of Natural History, of course, see the TR statue that Ryan and I ran a big social campaign for.
Charlie will love that story.
Launching it. And of course, I'm going to New York. I can't not go to AM&H. And it's going to be, and I will say one really disappointing thing is Catherine and I were debating out how to use our time. And we said, you could have a night out, go with friends, and then you go do something. And she said, well, if you want to go out to like a Broadway show or something some night, you can go out. I got to say, it's like, there's not great stuff to see anymore.
There's some good plays right now, but
I would like to see Giant with John Lithgow about Roald Dahl.
Yeah, you seem like a Roald Dahl kind of guy. Yeah.
Do you know about this podcast that's out there right now, The Secret Life of Roald Dahl?
No, is it good?
It's incredible. You should definitely give it a listen. An extraordinary life. I mean, really, what a cantankerous, complicated person. But he was a pilot. He was a spy in the United States for the UK. With his goal was to draw us into the war, and he struggled. He wanted to be like an adult novelist and had to settle for being a children's author. It's great.
I will check that out. I had no idea.
Yeah, you'll love it. You will fly right through it. It's great.
All right.
And you know what? We'll throw a link in the show notes. Help a fellow podcaster out.
Let's do it. Well, look. Until then, I'm Ryan Davis.
And I'm Kiernan Schmidt.
And this is Out of Office, a travel podcast.
This seat taken? Any other secret places I should take the kids in New York?
I don't know New York anymore. It's so depressing. The Bogota Kids Museum.
That's a little bit further of a trip.